As I exhale, clarity fills every pore until life is lighter than it was before.
Peter? Can you see me? Peter? 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 Say I'm 37 and I've thrown 20 years of my life away. I'm having one last go at this, Peter. I've set up an Instagram account. Her last gasp. Find me there? Gate 23. I fold a napkin over another bit of dried bread that I can take on the plane with me. No one serves food for free anymore. And there's snow starting to fall. No one's sure if we're actually going to take off. But I'm assured it's sunny when we land. Be like a holiday. I checked into my flight and I look at this giant custard cream in the cabinet of the coffee shop. And then Olga calls. And I hear the voicemail. And it's only 2 words. Don't leave. They don't like tourists, not here. It's a cathedral, and around it is a fortress. With all the photos, I create a missing post. So I ask people if you have any relevant or non-relevant information about this, then contact foundthis@gmail.com. It could be a cat, a social life, £10,000, parental love, whatever you're missing in your life. And if you're reading my posts, contact me. I can't find you, Peter. And I've scrolled through as much as I can of your YouTube history, but I can't find any clues. I go to the convent. Inside the convent, all of the treasures have been stripped, and you wouldn't know that religion had been here. And then she takes me out into the graveyard. I finally see that what all the fuss is about. The friar's garden, it's full of eucalyptus, lemon, and it attracts the most beautiful bird song. I could sit here for like days, and I understand why Peter put this so much in his Instagram. I can always feel a shadow behind me. Something just a twig breaking or sometimes too many leaves falling. Or one of those footsteps that just comes behind me. One of the footsteps that's just comes out of sync. I just feel like you are following me. Inside the cathedral, nobody's heard of him. Nobody's heard of him at all. His name's not on any altar. His name isn't in any book. It's like he never existed. But I know his family. And I know he played music. I know he was good. The violin music brought his family here, to this building, with the history and all of the music that was played here. There's got to be more to this story. I feel like I'm only scratching the surface.
Through August rain and trains rolled back on broken tracks as visitors to the city left luggage behind, too much to carry home. And she took a new pair of shoes. Too big, she took socks. Too small, she threw the box open. A voice shouted,
Peter! Olga. I tried to get more engaged with her work, and she says she's got this website, Friar Lawrence with a W. .net. And on it you can just decide which way her work should go. She doesn't seem to take responsibility for anything. She's throwing her career out there for you to decide. But you can go on the website and tell her what to make next. Olga takes me to dinner, only it's one of those eat all you can while you can things, and secretly I'm just dying to fill my mouth full of Percy pigs and just really eat the most ugly food that you can imagine, but you're in public. But it's one price fits all, and I'm being polite, and she knows I'm being polite, and I'm judging her for the first time. I'm looking at her thinking, you don't read the warnings. She's sucking on cigarettes one after another, and they must really know her here because she uses a teacup as an ashtray, which tells me you're not really supposed to be smoking here. One after another, and the air is just getting fumy and heavy, and I don't know where to start. She contacted me. She had all these ideas of businesses that we could run here. And since I've arrived, she just keeps walking out. She's gone to the loo. And it's taken that long. I think I'm going to be left with the bill. She says the meat's too dry. She covers it with ketchup. Then she says she doesn't like tomatoes. It's my savings that she's eating, and I want to have one of her burgers. She goes to leave, she reaches over me, the burger goes to the floor, that gherkin on the floor I could have eaten. I show her where I'm staying on a map. She says, if you want my opinion, it's not good. That's the sort of place where people leave freezers in the street and forget about them. I wouldn't spend longer than a night there. And so I walk on. There's a phone in the middle of the night and the door bangs, and there's a message to say thank God that I got back in time. There's been a curfew. I didn't know. I find an okay room, and I'm actually going to be moving in here soon. Somewhere safe to put my head. It is a bit tiny, but I could pick up the phone and go home anytime I want. but now I've got this room. A family live here. They're really kind and really like to have somebody from abroad staying. It's like an in thing. But I've got deodorant all over the carpet. I was only coming for a look around and I thought I'd just freshen myself up. And the rooms are a little bit smaller than I imagined. I realised that when you go abroad, the one thing you truly need is shelter. Go and find some vodka. It's the only way to keep the cold out when you've got so little money. I chat to strangers, disorientated. I lose my sense of reality. Weekenders hit so many in an odd way. Everybody wants to drink vodka, which doesn't always end well. So I'm just waiting for a check-in at some bargain B&B to keep myself going. Lavish isn't in our head, it's just a sense of chaos. And then I realise he is out there and I have to keep going. It's amazing how on your own you feel when there's no light. So I called my landlord. There's no light. He said, yeah. I said, there's no light. He said, that's normal. I said, the electricity's gone. He said, yeah. I said, that's normal. And then he hangs up. And so I just sat and waited for the light to come back. Maybe I didn't need the electricity anyway. Got nothing to cook. He's everywhere I look. He is in this city's DNA. Everything was dusty. It was like a shelter made out of foam. Just things that were scavenged due to social isolation. And I realised she's got nobody else to call. It's only me. And I think looking at her in the corner, a little shadow, she saw that thought in me. She was the future, being on her own. I saw a part of myself, one that I probably wanted to chop off. Everything that she had, you could see, was worn by her mother. And that final garment that she took off as I walked towards her was like a sense of safety, a sense of family, but she felt embarrassed for wearing it. And I paused. And even though I don't think we are the best of friends, she values the social interaction that I'd just taken for granted. And even though I'm so obviously out to find her brother, I saw some value in her. And the work around her. And either she asked me to sit down or I just went for it, because certainly the chair didn't look like it would hold much. Can't tell her just what a big connection that I have with Peter. And every time she says his name, It's this white light that goes off. And I'm thankful for it. If I don't see him, at least I'm going to sleep well tonight.
So you can see the flowers. That's what they're for.
I'm sat watching people come and go, and there's two little kids playing in the sandpit. There's two girls running to the merry-go-round, and Peter's dad follows them. The little kids have got a balloon in their hand, and it's the world to them. He closes his eyes, and he sighs with a sad face. There's a lot of children that gather there, and they look really happy for getting involved. And when he opens his eyes again, he sees the balloon. He stares at that balloon for a while, and then he snatches the balloon and runs towards the alley. He runs, finally leaving the alley. The children show a really disappointed face. They all leave soon.
Here in the garden, there's no birds today.
I'm looking through my Instagram. I'm watching all this come and go, and I can't get it out of my head that you are still out there, just watching me. And here I am on Instagram leaving you messages. What can 15 minutes really say? And so I decide I'm going to call his dad. And to be fair, he takes the call and then says, I'm too old for this. I say, I've invested a lot in this and I haven't come here with any further agenda. And he says, well, kindness is something we can't afford here now. He puts the phone down. But just before he does, he gives me the address. I memorise it in my brain.
She stood, then heard it again, better. Safety. The truck was reversing. She only heard half of what was said. Then something inside her pushed. She knew better than this. It was like being left behind. But she lived on tenterhooks and on boiled rice.
I'm going to see his dad. I connected with a stranger in my head, making a fantasy real for them. And that's when I realised that I kind of bring out the fantasies in people, and I'm here to find out my own. The food is expensive. I need to know what happens next if I can't help myself. His wife is in the middle of making lunch, but yet she insists that I stay, and I know there's not enough to go around. And she looks really tired. The tiredness that isn't going to go like away in a weekend. I ask if they liked the white vests that I sent them. They said they're not as nice as blue vests, but they understand blue vests is more expensive. I said I could change them if they prefer. I also give them an old Monopoly board and a few iPod speakers. I just thought that it would be useful. They remind me that this is a technology hub. And then they insist on me talking. I don't know how long I've been here at the moment. I don't want to know. and I get an unexpected message pop up on the screen. It's off Peter's father. He tells me to bring some lemon chicken or chicken and lemon sauce, and he will do the rest, God help us. I'm surprised he wants to see me again. I thought all our business was done. It's 7 o'clock in the morning and I'm a bundle of nerves. That's him rushing me, I say, as he rings me to say, am I out the door yet? Obviously not, I'm talking to him. There's a piece of paper on the fridge and it's got all these different emotions and states of being, and it's like, how stressed am I? 1 to 10. And I joke, I think it's really funny. And his father says, well, on days when I can't explain how I feel, I just point to it. And I hit him. And he says, don't treat people like that. But I couldn't work out if he was angry or sad. And they've got this coffee machine to make fresh coffee from roasted beans. And I hit him because Peter's not coming back. All that chaos in the kitchen. Sterilising machines, and they say it sterilises the food as well. It's just a chaos. And the stepmom, the new wife, it's just nothing but stir vegetables. There's never any space here for Peter. I can see the signs in the corner where Peter wrote, Dad is crap, when Peter had to live in the car. It was all over his Instagram. He did a protest. The new wife said that Peter was just too loud. All these bits, these tiny untied pieces of Peter's life. It was just too much. I just punched the face off the man for taking away the one chance I had, driving away his son. How do you do that? Just for sex? Just for love? I don't think it's love. She's younger, but I don't think it's love. The wife carried on serving the noodles, but of course I had to leave. Left fast, up and out. Don't know how hard I hit the man, but just seeing Peter's graffiti and protest signs in the corner. He pushed him too far. So that was for you. I know it was a step too far, but that apartment, that tiny apartment, so crammed with everything, just does nothing but push people. I haven't seen Olga for days. I hit your father. I'm not going to apologise. He could be out there, but there are tombstones sticking out like teenagers' teeth. And then she tells me bodies are upon bodies. I want to know more. And then she's gone. And after a while I realised there's no way of getting out. The only way out is through. The graveyard hems you in. I just don't want to find out if he's there or not. So I look over a wall to climb. And I see the flower that he meant for me. It was this really dark night last night, and I went through the graveyard. It was just enough light that I wasn't tripping over myself. It was nice, and I had a really good look. Peter, you're not out there. I don't understand why they don't have any trace of you. If this is a disappearance, then it's incomplete. And I think it's incomplete for a reason. A path ran where her home began before she lost everything that cost her lifelong savings to flop and the singing in her heart to stop. The daylight broke and the story choked the viewer to believe life is better when you leave. There was a party and everyone was holding their balloons really tight, and then when I looked closer they all had the words missing written upon them, and I realised it was the ones that I'd left for you. And then they just let go, and the sky was full of these pastel colour rainbow balloons, and that's when I knew that everyone's out looking for you, Peter, wherever you go. Those balloons won't let you go. Dance with me, Peter. Lift me up. Only you can do that. I send the message out and then I have a look at his Instagram. I know that he knows that I exist. Maybe there's a wall painted for me. I thought that you were doing me a favour by liking my posts. And now all I can do is just wait for you to do that again. The silences between us are the only thing that I have. And a deep sense of love and hate, and of sorrow and despair fills me. I see these white balloons. They're all about the place. And at first I like the balloons. They're filled with nothing. But there's more, and there's more of them. And I realise wherever I go, There's always that sense of nothing. His father breathed and then stopped. And in the corner of the room there was this balloon. And it just lifted up. The nurse had left the window open so that there could be more air coming in for the father to breathe. This balloon just lifted up and through that window and out. And then as his father breathed and stopped, I thought that balloon took the last breath away. The father had a heart attack. It wasn't running in the blood. And there's Olga. Nothing but one big cigarette. And Olga she's strong. And she goes into the father. We're all looking through this tiny window in the door. And then I see it. It's my ring. Sometimes I feel like everything we do is in sync. I do feel like you're out there in the garden every time I hear twigs snap, or there's that extra shadow from a tree, or the wind blows too many leaves down. I just think you can't be that far away. Or there's an extra thud of footstep just after mine. I turn back. There's nobody. But I know you're out there. And I feel like you know exactly where I am. Just looking for a sign. Just some kind of sign, Pete. Just something like a token that tells me that you are here. And this was meant to be. Say something about yourself. Once I remember we were drinking, and you said it was vodka, and it was water all along. You made that up. Bloody vodka. The garden is full of flowers. At me. She stands beside me and she's got these copper blue eyes, which I never noticed before. And they stare through these cheap pink plastic glasses with hearts on, piercing through. And I see myself, and I see Peter and everywhere he grew up and all the people that he met, and I kind of understand him. Being with these people every day, it's kind of got into my skin. And then I move through to the back and I see where all her nail varnish is and all the things that we're going to be using, the inks, and then the permanence of it all does sink in. But she says the responsibility of getting the design wrong is terrifying. But she says I keep the magic unbroken in the cost. And then I trust her. I've got this urge to eat cake. I already paid. It's online. I show her the receipt. She said yes. She says good tattoos are not cheap. My heart has melted and it's serious. And I've got a brand new token tattoo. She says you've got an eagle's wing fused to your body. She's standing beside me and I'm leaning now on the floor. And the sky has gone suddenly from a lovely sunny day to this silvery grey. And she says, let me finish. The tattoo is in half. I've got half a bloody wing on my back. I look at it closely. I go into the toilets that are just beside the gardens and have a look in a cracked mirror. In the cracked mirror it seemed to make sense. It looked a bit like a Mohican or the face of that pop star that I can never... A little bit like Rick Astley, to be honest, which is not at all rock and roll, but he was a good, steadfast kind of character that, you know, he'd carry you through a battle. And I can see the blood coming through a little bit, but I can still see the eagle's wing. Maybe she's right. Maybe she has half finished. But the word finished kind of is stronger than half. So maybe I'm right. It had felt the right time to walk away, to stand up in her shop, and it's fully paid for. And just as the blood drips around it, makes the shape of a broken heart, half a broken heart. Olga stole my jewellery, all of it, it's all gone, and she was the last person here. Messaging her for 48 hours, no response yet. But when I do hear from her, the fact she wants to keep me away, I know that Peter's here. Her wrists gripped tight as she was, the only life was becoming a lie. Her face twists, it's a risk, but instead of a lie, she sends out a sigh. The church was empty, so the book of births, marriages, deaths just open. And the stamp that dips the ink and the date just there, ready. Red ink flowing. I just knew it was the right thing. Nobody to see. Is it raining on you too, Peter, where you are? We're not stuck anymore. There's 2 tiny insects inside the amber that you sent me. They're not moving, but they are connected. And so are we now. Always and forever. I don't have to be out there on all the social media being the Romeo I never really wanted to be. And the same for you too. You can stop. No more for Insta love, Insta quotes. The future's ours. Just silence now. The church in the background. The violins. I know what drew you away. I know why you couldn't stay, Peter. I came as close as I could to find you. You found me. And we'll always have that. We'll always have that.
The smile vanished from his dusty face. His feet were bleeding deep from running in the cheap shoes he held so dear, his only pair. The chimney pots got in his way and the roof wobbled when he stepped on it. He went forward and the ceiling broke. He landed in chaos, where the breeze blew through all the gaps. He thought about it for a moment, then he closed his eyes. Something made him feel safe here in the shed, when really he should have kept running even when his feet bled, because only that pain would take him where he needed to go.
And now we're together forever. This is my last Instagram to you, Peter. Because my reason for being here too has changed. And I know. This part of me being a female Romeo, going online, is over. I got what I came for. Nothing can keep us apart. Because there's a document in that church that makes it so. I do. I do. I do. I bloody do. No one can touch me now. No one can touch me now. I type out a job application for full-time tree dweller at the park. I'm a hard-working human who's dedicated and has loads of experience. I'm used to all environments and insects, and I adapt. I hope to create a new home here. I enjoy activities like sleeping, and I keep the environment alive. And from behind, it was Peter. She had his beige socks on, and somebody came up to her and said, "You're Peter's friend?" That's when I knew that at least I'm not alone. people that have taken all this time to come and find Peter. Other people are following him. Maybe you. Peter, I'm deleting my Instagram, so we won't ever find each other. You won't ever see me. You'll just know that I'm out there somewhere. But I want somebody to write something nice about me because they mean it, not because I've paid them. I thought this I like you, you like me thing with the posts was going somewhere, but it doesn't fill me with anything real. So I'm deleting Instagram. This is it. Bye. Be authentic. Be summer. Be sunny. Be real. Be light. Be fresh. Be conscious. Be woman. Be you. I've got a job in the library. In my break, I imagine he finds me. And I'm on a train, and there's a bath in the train, and I get disturbed. I don't think it's going to happen that way. I wish I could imagine it in a realistic way, because that would give me more hope. And I say, I'm going to take you back to England, back where we can start our life all over again. And I'm going to assume that's what he wants. I don't think I can stay here. I haven't thought beyond seeing him. But as someone said, you're only ever one cappuccino away from making them yourself. And then my phone rings.
You